Right now, there's one question that's on everyone's mind in the world of professional cartoon making, and that's, how do I get a show on Netflix? Well, stay tuned, because I'm going to explain how, if you really want Netflix to buy your animated series, Pedigree is probably the pitch. Hey there, and welcome back to Surviving Animation, your guide to making it in the business of cartoons. My name is Eric Calderon. Today we're talking about Netflix and how you can get an animated series placed there. Now, to begin, a lot of people like to think of this as the elephant in the room, which actually it really isn't true. So the elephant in the room refers to the big thing that nobody's talking about. But if you have any conversation in any business setting in the world of animation right now, Netflix is the thing that everybody talks about all the time. It's all everyone wants. How can I get my show on Netflix? So let's get right down to it. Before we dig deep, please do subscribe to this channel. It's all about cartoons and the business structures that surround it. And don't forget to keep the notifications active so you can be aware when a new episode goes up. Alright, what does Netflix want?
What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want? God damn it, what do you want?
Let me start with something an executive that I pitched at Netflix just a few months ago said to me. Although I can't say this was her exact quote, what she said amounted to this. Netflix wants every consumer on the planet to feel like their favorite show is on Netflix. Wow. So where does a creator go from here? To get down to the next level of detail, you've got to understand just how broad a definition of animation Netflix currently has. Unlike more demographically specific places like, say, Disney or Nickelodeon, whose focus is squarely on the kids market, Netflix has animation for every consumer category on the planet. Here's a flash round of some of the shows currently listed as Netflix original animation in the US. Voltron, Legendary Defenders, Skylanders Academy, Devilman Crybaby, BoJack Horseman, Ask the Storybots. Now, if you were to turn back the clock just 8 to 10 years ago, it would have been impossible to imagine that all of these titles were being financed and distributed by a single buyer. There's boys action and toy shows, primetime adult comedies, original Japanese anime, and preschool educational series. But there's another pattern here that's not easy to see from just looking at the titles that's important to understand, and that pattern is pedigree. Let's go back to that flash round of shows, but this time, instead of putting the titles over the footage, let's put up the pedigree of the franchises and the teams behind the shows. Suddenly, the decision-making process at Netflix starts to become a lot clearer. Every project mentioned had some incredibly large and/or reliable aspect to it that made it a compelling choice for them to buy. In industry terms, this is often called the package. And as those from the live-action TV development world know, packaging is almost everything for the sale, which leads to some very bad news about Netflix for newer creators. And that bad news is, unfortunately, Netflix is probably not going to buy your new idea, especially if you're not a prestige creator. Now, I know that kind of sucks, but I think that's just the way it is. But for those of you with just a bit more industry experience and connections, this might also be something for you to deeply consider. From my point of view, Netflix isn't trying anything at the mid-level either. So let's say you've got a concept with some good, but not award-winning talent, or you've got a decent property, say an indie comic or a toy that's maybe sold a few hundred or a few thousand copies, or you've got a great sample script from a friend who's written a few things here or there. My feeling is that Netflix is just not going to take the risk on these either. So if you're in that mid-game, I think you've really got to think about packaging harder. You've got to add those aspects to your overall presentation that compete not just with the ideas, but the pedigree of packages that will guarantee Netflix both pre-packaged audiences and reliable results. If not, fully expect that Netflix will probably add these during the development phase themselves. To be honest, and I know this is kind of abrupt, I think that's all I want to say about Netflix right now. I hope that you got something out of my analysis on what I personally think they want, and I hope this helps all of you as you continue to develop an understanding of the business of cartoons. But what do you think? Do any of you believe that Netflix would ever take a shot on a completely new idea with a brand new team? Please feel free to comment below on this video or send me a note on either Twitter, LinkedIn, or Instagram. I'm always happy to chat. Until then, your likes are loved, your subs are adored. Whatever you want to do in the world of animation, I'm here to help you survive. See you next time.